Are you an overgiver? Here are some signs. If you'd ask yourself, do you tend to automatically say yes to requests without considering how they'll affect your own time and energy? Do you sometimes find yourself overwhelmed by the amount of obligations in your life? Do you notice that you have little to no time, energy, or money left for your own priorities after you've met other people's requests? Okay. These are some significant signs that you may have overgiving syndrome. And overgiving syndrome is absolutely going to tip your balance out of whack and significantly limit your ability to really flourish your purpose. Now, that purpose can be full of nurturance and giving to others and so on. But there is a point, a tipping point, where it really is not meeting essentials of your own needs as much as you may love to give. There needs to be the balance that really works for you. Now, when you have that balance, not only are you primed to be able to give your best when you very deliberately choose to give, you will have the resources of energy, of focus, of time, and perhaps also the finances that you need to be able to really do what you came here to do. And the thing is that we can feel we're helping the other person by perhaps giving, giving, giving. However, it's not always for the highest good for us to do something for another person, even sometimes when it seems like they may not be able to resolve that challenge on their own. It really takes some deep insight, some deep connecting with your guidance, having that clarity about your inner compass and your connection to divine guidance, as well as I would say a like a bigger picture read on the situation. Those are not the simplest things. It can be challenging to step back from playing a helping role. However, it may be if you are really not called and you know that clenching feeling in your throat, in your stomach, when you're overgiving, or that clenching the jaw, just you're feeling maybe cranky, right? Feeling that frustration because your needs are not getting met, then this could be a signal that there's overgiving going on. And if you step back, perhaps that helping role is actually meant for somebody else. Perhaps the person receiving that support will begin to grapple in a more effective way with their challenges, such that they get that need met without you stepping in. This can be very challenging for healers and visionaries, for highly sensitive people who so feel as if they're their own the needs of others, the energies and emotions of others. And so we can also have beliefs in in old programming, even beliefs that we don't realize we have that are in our subconscious that tell us that we must give in this way, even though we may recognize that it's tipping us out of balance, that it's not for our highest good, that it's not for the highest good of our purpose. And that is why in the Flourish Your Purpose program, we use the subconscious superpower formula, because the subconscious is processing information millions of times faster than the conscious mind. And nearly all of our brain activity, I believe it's 95% of the brain activity, is actually happening in our subconscious mind. And so those thoughts, those automatic reactions, when it's a knee-jerk reaction, it makes it even more clear that the subconscious is involved. But the subconscious is actually feeding ideas, emotions, reactions to the conscious mind. But the conscious mind, not being typically able to look underneath there at the subconscious, thinks it got this idea all on its own. And it's not aware, perhaps, of conflicting ideas going on in the background. It's like conflicting programs running in the background of your computer. So getting that subconscious on board is absolutely key for overcoming overgiving syndrome. In one case, working with a client of mine who felt this conflict about this camper came up for sale, at a great price. And gee, that could really be helpful to my daughter who is struggling right now, my adult daughter. And here's this great price. And yes, it's a stretch for me financially, but I could, and someone who loves to give, very sincerely loves to give. And it would not be the first time that she was giving beyond what really worked for her, and then finding she really needed to change the situation, backtrack, and change an agreement to not give in a way that was hurting her and her ability to get her own needs met. And so it was a challenge initially, but she came to be really grateful that she chose not to buy the camper, that she chose to honor the potential for her daughter to work herself into a better financial situation. She was not withdrawing any support. She was holding space for her, understanding that there are things at times we need to work out in our lives, not abandoning her in any sense, but meeting the needs of her situation in connection with the needs of her daughter. So that is just one example. There's many possibilities. You may have your own situation, can think back to times where, wow, it was really uncomfortable, um, giving as much as you did, and in hindsight, you really wish that you hadn't. And maybe are still feeling some repercussions from that. Or perhaps you're in a situation right now that is taking more of your effort or your time, or other resources than is really in sync with who you are. And that can hold back flourishing your purpose. So, big food for thought here. If you're interested in finding out more about the subconscious superpower formula and ways that you can overcome overgiving syndrome, drop a heart in the comments. And I want to thank you so much for being here and for being you. Namaste and many blessings to you, my friend.